Hey, welcome to Beta List. Today I have Michael and Alex from TinyFactory in San Diego with me. Hi guys, how are you?
How you doing?
Not
Good,
bad.
good.
Cold. So tell me about TinyFactory and what you guys do, where you guys came from, and what are the plans?
Yeah, so we started TinyFactory about 3 years ago as an agency, and in the last year and a half, we've really started focusing our time on building our own products. So we've been splitting our time about 50-50 between building our own products and doing client work, and we're finally ready to kind of turn that corner and be a complete product shop. And so that's where we approached Beta List with Lingual, which is our big, language education game that we've been working on for about a year and a half now.
Very cool. And then on your site, I see you have like Bilingual Child. So with Lingual, are you just going into the adult market now, or are you just still targeting kids and just changing the name, I guess?
So we're still going to be targeting kids. Bilingual Child was actually a quick application we put together a little over a year ago to really just test the market. That one was a relatively quick build for us. We wanted to see, first of all, could we put something out that people would enjoy, and then what would be the response on it? And the results of that one actually has done pretty well. So we decided to start going to something that's a little bit bigger build. That one also had some interesting components as far as like translation between Spanish and English, and we wanted to go with something that's more like submersive and more of a gameplay. So basically we took all the data from the first launch and started focusing on building something that was more gamified and more submersive. So, and also we expanded out the language offering too.
Very cool. So in terms of, you guys started with client work and then now you're going straight to products. Why the change? What was the big deciding factor in that?
For the product work, for the agency work, we just didn't feel fulfilled enough. When we were building our own products, we could really spend the time that we needed to craft them the way that we wanted to see them. And we were kind of tired of being ghost developers for these really large projects that we can never tell anyone about. So
Fair enough.
And also, when it comes to doing agency work, I guess it comes down to usually selling your time. Usually selling an hourly rate or a weekly rate, and you can't scale time. In the end, it's like there's only so many hours in a day. You can only work so long. So the only way you can scale it is by increasing your rate, and there's usually a ceiling on that as well. So I think naturally, if you want to go, I'm not saying like money is the main driving factor, but you reach a kind of a ceiling when you go with the agency style besides adding more people. And really just wanted to focus more on products and trying to build on a customer base and scaling that side of it out.
Very cool. And then why go language? Why not, try and be the next Angry Birds? And, why go and pick, teaching little kids how to speak Chinese and Spanish and all those things?
well, that's why we built Bilingual Child. We wanted to find a market that without being a really big shop, there's only 5 of us here, that we could compete in. And language education seemed to be a great market where we could develop a product that was on par with the offerings, if not better, but yet we could do that in 6 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, there's also a lot of competition in the casual gaming market, and casual games are great. But when we started taking a look at it, we started thinking it's like the casual game fits in kind of a small part of your day. It's like, I don't know, in between other things that are going on, it also hits the older audience, which is, we've got so many things going on. Our time is always strapped as well. We looked at the education market. We're like, we could actually build things people use on a daily basis. It becomes part of their day. So we thought there was a bigger opportunity for actually having our applications used beyond just short spurts during the day. So we want to do that. And then also we saw that the education market is growing dramatically. Apple's really, targeting the education market with the iPad. Here in San Diego, they recently did a 26,000 iPad purchase for the school district.
Very cool.
And they're talking about upping it to about 50,000 iPads. So I think things are just really lining up for the education market and made a lot of sense for us.
Very cool. And then in terms of, I guess, you said, we talked before, you said you were bootstrapped. So you're not going to take any funding. You're just sort of going through all that, war chest you had from client work and going to go and tackle the education market with that. But what, after scaling, after moving up, do you just plan on keeping the bootstrap mentality or taking on funding, or what are your plans for that?
I mean, I think it's like when you look at anything when you're engineering it, the more moving parts you have, the more complicated it gets, the harder it is to manage. So I think for funding right now, it's just one extra moving part that we really didn't want to focus on. I just focused on building great products. So it's been a tough balance, definitely between making and managing the client work and then focusing on trying to bootstrap the product. But we think if we do it right, if we ever do want to go out and get funding, our valuation should be quite a bit higher because we should have something that's in revenue. So, we're not going to turn it down entirely, but it's just not our focus right now.
Okay, very cool. And then, so Michael, you do the design side, and Alex, you're the engineering side. So, like, I guess each of you go, Michael, go first. Like, what do you think your biggest challenge is design-wise for something like, educating a child in Chinese?
I mean, that alone is a huge design challenge.
Yeah.
But inside of our game, we actually took it a step further where we were, it's a full immersion. So we have no native language inside of the game. We can't even say, this is Chinese, push here, good job. Yeah. We're using all cues from the native language and all visual cues. So in terms of developing Lingual, that was definitely the hardest challenge, was how do we build a user interface with no language?
Yeah, very cool. And then in terms of, I guess, the engineering side, I mean, are you an iPhone developer by trade, or you sort of learn that on the side? Or?
I don't do a lot of the iOS development on this project. We actually have another guy that we're working with for a lot of the iOS development. I do a lot of the web-based stuff for our interfaces. But we've also built, too, with this project, we've got a lot of other kind of engineering hurdles, too. When it comes to the language content, the big thing we were running into was how much content, how large the application started getting. So when we open it up and it's like, you may be interested in just Spanish and French, but if we offer French and German and Portuguese, Spanish and English and all these other ones, the application just balloons in size. So we actually figured out, we built a packaging system here that based on what language the user is playing, it actually starts querying our server and we start pulling down the assets in front of them. So that way we can keep the initial download size small so it's quick to download. They can do it over Wi-Fi or they can do it over 3G or LTE. And then we can just start downloading the stuff in the background as they start playing whatever language. Cool. Beyond that, I think the hardest thing about making a game is making it fun. And that's a tough thing because it could take a ton of work just working on some small detail when it comes to engineering. It's about a lot of late nights, and you can spend a lot of work that just gets thrown out over and over because it just doesn't end up being fun.
And that's kind of been our last year and a half. We probably had the game, the core of it done 6 months ago, but we've been tweaking the gameplay to make it engaging, interactive, and fun. And some of our beta users can attest to that. Some that we actually found on beta list.
Very cool. And then in terms of, I guess, users for the child, I mean, the goal is to get the children to meet maybe relatives or cousins or little things you're trying to get them to sort of go and use the app and tell you what see if they can speak a few words after. I mean, what is that the sort of goal in terms of market research to get those younger users using it instead of the older crowd? Or
yeah, absolutely. So we've actually reached out to a couple language teachers that are here in town. So they've been trying it with their kind of after school programs, been getting their feedback, and are they seeing that is the game too difficult for them? Is it easy? Is it too easy for them? I mean, we've just been doing a lot of that, but in the end, you do have to get it in the hands of the target audience. Yeah, we do have the people who are older, our friends, all trying it out too, because we want to see what their level of interest is. But in the end, it's like our target is that about 4 to 10-year-old with it, so that's what we have to get it in the hands of.
Yeah, so we've been doing a combination of testing it here so we can actually watch them play it, getting their feedback through test flight. We have users that are in Spain, all over the U.S. that are currently testing it, and then actually taking it into the language schools. And we've been collecting all that feedback, and we're getting really close to being able to release it now.
Very cool. And then monetization-wise, I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna. The way I would see it is upload to the App Store. Maybe it's a free download. Maybe it's $1.99 or something like that. And then you have all those extra language packages to build onto it. I'm assuming that's how you're gonna go after it, or you have any other cool?
We've built a full kind of coin model into it, where you're earning coins as you go through the levels. If you're able to get perfect, you're able to get basically a discount on the next journey. And each journey contains 20 new vocabulary words.
Okay.
And so we're giving you, it's a free download. We're giving you the first journey for free, where you learn numbers in your language of choice. And then from there, you can progress through by purchasing and earning.
So what if I went through and I had my 2-year-old go, and don't really want a 2-year-old, but yeah, if I had my 2-year-old run through and he did the first thing in Spanish, and then let's say, 2 or 3 days in, he's through the second journey, third journey, I bought him some coins, and he doesn't like Spanish anymore. He wants to see if he can do some Chinese. So how would he go and change that in the app? I guess, does he have to start over? Are the journeys unlocked, the second and third ones in Chinese already, or he would have to?
No, they're all completely different monuments. So what we've done is we wanted to bring in like a little bit of culture and geography into the game beyond just the language component. So each one of the levels, we call them journeys. You're actually traveling to a monument that is associated with the language. We've soundtracked it too, as well, to match it. But so you could be in, going in Spain, traveling around, learning learning Spanish, and then you could be over, in some monuments that are in China, learning Mandarin. So each one of them is completely independent. So it's not like if you unlock the vocabulary for one of the journeys in one language, it unlocks it in the other ones, because they're each completely different experiences.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. And then in terms of, I guess, plans for the future, when do you guys think you're going to get this out in the wild and start seeing how it tests out?
It's always tough, but we're going for March. That's
going for March. Okay, that's in like 3 or 4 days right now.
Most likely the end of March, but that's our current goal, and we're very close to being able to hit that. So very
cool. And then I'm assuming in terms of like development stuff, I mean, Michael, is your voice on there saying, please go to, or have you contracted out for stuff like that?
Oh, you're talking about for the audio components?
Audio. I mean, the gameplay itself. I mean, do you guys do that in house? Is it?
So all of the audio, we found native speakers. We were at the recording studio here in town. We first tried getting just native speakers and us recording it, but the quality just wasn't the same. I mean, with our office too, it's really high ceilings. It reverberates a lot. So we actually went through and recorded it at a recording studio. And then actually we got some feedback with Spanish. We forgot the articles. We didn't do the L or the laws in front of that. So, we were thinking, now we just had to go re-record it again. So, there's a lot of details in development that if we do it right, nobody will really notice. But, it's just kind of the things that you hit along the way. And
if you can't pronounce the R correctly, you're going to get, whacked out real fast, I guess.
But we wanted to make sure that we really did have like the native speakers when we're doing the recording.
And we've had to cross-reference all of this across at least 3 different native speakers to know that we're using the right words.
You don't want some guy coming up and saying, "Oh yeah, give me $100." Yeah. So.
Well, there's so many dialects in every language too. Spanish has got dramatically different dialects depending on if you're South America or you're in Spain too. So it's really kind of blending all of that and trying to find like the middle ground. So.
Very cool.
We're even trying to find speakers from, say, Spain. Right now we have our audio is from South America. We're looking for someone from Spain to maybe record those Spanish levels, so that children could actually hear the different accents as well.
Yeah, we don't have it in right now, but we want to do. We have Stonehenge. We'd like to get a British accent for it, but it's not in right now.
that would be very cool. I can just imagine. And here is the so.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it must be fun being 2 adults and working on a kid. So.
Sit there and just kind of let your imagination flow with it too. So, I mean, the character Lingual, it was just developing him. I mean, there's so many fun things you get to do with it, but it's definitely quite a challenge.
Very cool. Well, I hope you guys explore the hell out of it, and
man, that is the plan.
And I mean, best of luck. It sounds like March will be. I'm looking forward to trying it out myself and running through the journey and seeing how many words I can learn in one shot. So probably 1 or 2, but.
Hopefully more.
As long as you have what you started with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's about language learning that's kind of interesting is that there's no like one solution for it too. You've got to take it from so many different places.
And everybody goes, and everybody has their own journey. So, but very cool. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you guys kill it. I mean, it seems pretty damn cool stuff what you guys are doing. So, looking forward to seeing the app and testing out my Espanol. So
excellent.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Jeff, great talking with you.
Have a good night.